For a country which is in such serious crisis, facing very many challenging immediate problems, we have been having very strange discussions. Discussions like who will succeed Raila because he's retiring from politics. Of course, pure propaganda. But that is the discussion which has been dominating our media in recent days. Discussions like ODM took the wrong decision, expelling errant legislators who are promoting another political party, and yet our constitution is very clear. We've even had an instance where the Interior CS has been quoted as criticizing a political decision by the ODM party. Imagine that. An Interior CS with all the many serious problems his docket must have in the entry, discussing ODM house cleaning administrative issues. What? Many analysts, including yours truly, are sure that the Interior CS was instructed to make this political comment. You heard me right. Instructed. You know by who? By William Ruto, of course. Who else? And the strange discussions do not stop there. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has recently told us about where Raila wanted to sit when he attended the recently concluded climate summit at the KICC in Nairobi. What? Is Kenya in trouble as a country, or is it not? You tell me. Because, seriously, I'm even ashamed to discuss this issue on this channel, but it was just too much. You're the deputy president of a country with so many challenges, and you're discussing sitting arrangements at the KICC? Seriously? Even if Raila Odinga wanted to sit with presidents, so what? Even Chris Kumekucha wants to sit with presidents. Why not? What is the issue? I will tell you what the issue is. We have a government that has no inkling of any idea of how to govern. They have no agenda. Okay? So what they're doing is what they were doing during the campaigns. Using propaganda. Spreading propaganda. This is a propaganda government and nothing else. While admittedly the world over, governments use propaganda to govern, it does not take center stage. When it takes center stage, you know, as a country, you're in serious trouble. There is another reason why Rigathi Gachagua's comments about Raila are troubling me. I am a bit worried that some people have not yet retired, and they may be approaching 200 years by my latest calculations. Let me explain. In the days of Jomo Kenyatta, the favorite propaganda was that Jaramogi was so desperate to become president, Jaramogi Raila's father, that he allegedly begged Jomo Kenyatta one day, please allow me to sit in this office, even just for one day. Allow me to be president just for one day. And then he also allegedly begged Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, please Moi, I'm very old now, just allow me to sit in this office for a day. That was the propaganda. Pure lies. Yeah, and of course the whole objective, nobody likes desperate people. So the whole idea was to paint Jaramogi as being desperate for the presidency. Actually, the desperation was on the other side. Some people were so desperate to ensure that Jaramogi never becomes president. They had nightmares at night. They couldn't sleep, imagining Jaramogi Oginga Odinga as president of Kenya. Now these people crafted that propaganda. Apparently, hawajaenda retire. They're still advising UDA, apparently. Because I'm sure the current crop of advisors to this government are very young. Hao ni watu wa Pampers, born just the other day. Sio watu wa napkins. Yeah, there's a difference. So there's no way they'd have rushed so quickly into the old Jaramogi propaganda and decided to rinse and repeat the same on Raila Odinga. So it must be the same fellow who was operating in the 60s and 70s and 80s. How old must he be now? Boss, we retire bwana. Propaganda yako imepitwa na wakati. Imepitwa kabisa. Talking of retirement, you know, these people take advantage of the fact that we are all very busy. We don't have time to sit down and think and analyze. Life in today's world is just too fast-paced, and with a lot of interruptions. Ndio hiyo WhatsApp message imeingia, ndio hiyo update on Facebook, ndio hiyo SMS message, etc., etc. People don't have time to stop, slow down, and think. And therefore, when all of a sudden the media decides to go full throttle on who is going to succeed Raila, it works. Everybody takes it up. Yet it is just nonsense. I'll explain why. Kenya's first 3 presidents took office when they were definitely over 70 years old. Okay, I'm talking about Jomo Kenyatta, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, and Kibaki. Mwai Kibaki was 71 years old when he took the oath of office on that very memorable day at Uhuru Park, December 2002. There's no debate. The other two, kuna ka debate kadogo. But it should be obvious. Now officially, Jomo Kenyatta was sworn into office, first as a prime minister and then later on as president. But he was first sworn into office when he was 69 years old. Now there are very many reasons why that can't be true, that can't be accurate. You see, Jomo Kenyatta was born in the era when many Africans had not gone to school, and therefore birth dates used to be estimated. Huyo alizaliwa ile msimo ndovu zilivamia mashamba. So and so was born at that time when elephants invaded our farms and destroyed maize. So and so is in the age group, is the age mate of so and so and so and so. Now those kinds of estimations are give and take 10 or even 15 years. And I know you'll be even more convinced when you see a photograph of Jomo in December 1963. But even if you're not, 69 is fairly close to 70. Daniel Toroitich arap Moi officially was supposed to have taken over the presidency. By the way, when you reach a certain age, I guess it tickles you when people give you a much younger age. But in Moi's case, if you want to believe he was 64 years old when he took office, instead of 72 years old, then you'll have to explain the officially recorded time when he's supposed to have walked to Kapsabet to purchase his first Bible. He'd have had to be 3 years old. Does that make sense to you? Bottom line, Kenya's first 3 presidents came into office when they were at least 70 years old. Now by the time Raila Odinga was born, things had changed a lot, because even his father went to school. So Raila Odinga is 78 years old. And remember, age is nothing but a number. I'm sure even you know age mates who look very different, 30 years old, but one looks 60, the other one may look 20, but both of them are 30 years old. There are a lot of factors that come into the age of a man or a woman, their lifestyles, etc., etc. So while it is true Raila is 78 years old, so what? So what? And in any case, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka over the weekend said in public, mchana, that Raila Odinga has no intentions of retiring from politics. Contrary to what government by propaganda wants us to believe and is pushing very hard. Instead of pushing to bring the cost of living down, they're pushing propaganda. They're obsessed with the rightful winner of the 2022 presidential elections. And maybe they should. After all, when you steal from somebody, huyu mtu anakushtua kila wakati ukikutana naye. That is true. Human nature dictates that you have to be obsessed with that person whom you stole from. And of course, the most serious problem here is that all this circus is ongoing as Kenyans continue to suffer, as Kenyans continue to be pushed further and further into that corner of desperation. Yeah, making it very predictable how all this will end, doesn't it? Even the push for the creation of the office of official opposition leader, which was in the BBI, which was trashed by these same people who now call themselves our leaders, even that one is crafty propaganda. And I'll tell you why. The whole scheme here is to put somebody else into that office, not Raila Odinga, in a desperate attempt to make Raila Odinga irrelevant, obscure in Kenyan politics, which of course will not work. Yeah? Those of us who follow politics closely, who have been doing so for a long time, can tell you very early, mapema mchana, that will not work. And of course, Raila Odinga is not interested in that office. His supporters are not interested in that office. And the people pushing for it, of course, are aware of this. And I've told you why they're pushing for it. They want to put somebody else there. Make sure that other person is vocal, receiving bahashas from them to follow instructions, of course, yeah, in order to push Raila Odinga away from politics. My dear fellow Kenyans, don't be fooled. You know, even in life, when people start retiring their father, start talking about when he's going to retire, won't you get suspicious? Why are they so interested on when their father will retire? And of course, if you dig deeper, utaona hapo kuna inheritance manenos. Yeah, money is the issue. Themselves money is the issue. And therefore, any discussion, yeah, on Raila Odinga's retirement, Raila Odinga's successors, just ignore. Hiyo ni propaganda from the propaganda government. Now, before I go, there's a lot of confusion over this national dialogue by partisan talks ongoing. People are also very worried that Raila Odinga is acting out of character. He had said he'd give them 30 days. Those 30 days have long elapsed. What is Raila Odinga up to? What is he waiting for? That's a question on many Kenyan minds. Well, the answer is shell-shocking. And it is in my latest weekly intelligence briefings, number 114. Yeah, I'm sure most of you have caught it already. If not, please make sure you catch it, even as I prepare the next double edition of WABs. Yeah, the next ones I'll produce will be 2 in 1. WAB number 115 and WAB number 116 at the same time. And so even as I finalize on that one, make sure you catch 114. Now, in case you're not yet a subscriber, you can see details on your screens on how you can be a subscriber immediately. And then you'll also be able to catch up on past editions which you've missed. And then I'd also like to appeal to you to really consider sponsoring more young people to get my weekly intelligence briefings. I believe you can see details on your screens right now. It is important that we prepare our young people, yeah, so that they don't get confused by this propaganda that is flying all over the place, being forced to think in a certain way, when the reality is very different. We really need to work on that. It is critical for the future of our country. And if you sponsor 100 young people to get WABs, I will top it up by sponsoring 200. So please carefully consider. If you sponsor 10, I will sponsor 10. If you sponsor 20, I'll sponsor 20. All for a better Kenya. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.